For this example, we're going to be looking at the price of a Kindle. You may or may not remember when the Kindle first came out, but when it did, it was one of those things that was expensive up front. I remember saving all the reward dollars from my credit card to get my child a Kindle. And then like a year later, they cost significantly less, and I was able to get my younger children Kindles, and it didn't feel like nearly as big of an expense. So what I have in the chart here is some of the data. So the Kindle was initially launched in 2009, and we are told to create a linear model. So when we are creating a linear model, we are trying to create a y equals mx plus b model. In this model, when we are applying it to real life situations, b is the starting amount, and we can see from the chart of data that the price of the Kindle at the beginning was $349. So that will be our B. In our equation, the M in real life equals the rate of change. And when we look at this data, we see that the price was definitely going down. So it's decreasing in this time frame. So we have talked about before the slope, the rate of change, can be figured out by figuring how much did the price change. So to figure out how much it changed, I would take $299 and subtract $349, and when I do that, I get a negative $50. So the price has gone down $50. But it didn't instantaneously go down $50. This happened over a time frame. So I also have to know, well, how much did the time change? So when I'm looking at that, the order really does matter. So the $299 that I used first up here on the top of my fraction went with the 5 months since the launch. And the $349 went with 0 months, the launch. So when I do that subtraction, I end up with a positive 5. And then doing this math on my calculator or in my head, I find that the price decreases by $10 per month. So I have my slope of negative 10. We had talked about previously that slope is the letter M, and the formula is officially y2, the second y value minus the first one, divided by x2 minus x. And these little ones and twos just indicate the first and second, and you can see the order here, 2 minus 1, 2 minus 1, is the same on the top and the bottom, and that helps us get the right sign when we do the math. If we mixed up the order on any of these, we may have come up with a positive $10 as if the price were increasing. So now I'm going to pull all these pieces together and write my model. So my model is y equals negative $10, so negative 10x plus the initial price of $349. In this x, came from this first column, is my months. And specifically, you can see that it's months since February 2009. And my y is equal to the second column, which we can see is price. That's what my formula is calculating. So then it asks me as my second question, what does your model predict for the price of the Kindle in February 2011? So exactly 2 years or 24 months after it was launched. So since months is my x value, I'll put that 24 into my equation where the x is. And so I go ahead, I put that into my calculator, and when I do that math, 2 years later, the Kindle was costing $109. Now, this trend does not continue forever, because if we took this trend the whole way up to today in 2019, we would be multiplying here by like 240 months, and we would take that the Kindle would have a negative price. So at some point the trend stopped. But as long as that trend was continuing, we can predict the price.